This is Good Morning Suncoast. We're here for you.
Good morning. It is indeed Friday, the brink of the weekend, February 2nd. I'm Ray Collins. Glad you're with us. Stephanie Webb is off today, not feeling well. John Scalzi is feeling great because it is Friday.
Because it is Friday, we love it, and because the weather is looking so good today. You know, I think it's going to be a beautiful afternoon. Most of the weekend will as well. We do have one little kind of hiccup in the weekend forecast, which we'll talk about in just a second. But otherwise, things are looking pretty good. Cooper in central Sarasota, our youngest weather watcher, comes in with 54 degrees, and it is 51 degrees, says Al, in Northport. He's about a mile west of Northport High School. Richard, also in Northport, picks up 52 degrees, so I think 51, 52 degrees, pretty good bet in Northport. And across the region, temperatures are generally running in the low to mid 50s most everywhere, with some upper 50s in inland areas. 54 degrees in Sarasota, 54 degrees in Punta Gorda, 56 in Parrish, 57 in Bradenton, and in inland areas 57 as well. We're looking today for a daytime high temperature that tops out pretty mild, kind of like it did yesterday, you know, coming up at around 74 degrees, so it's nice. And the chance for the kids having an outside recess today, excellent. 10 out of 10. They'll enjoy it. Back to you, Ray.
Beauty of living in Florida. They're not outside for recess up north right now. There's the roads right now. First off, in Manatee County, the usual buildups around 301 and State Road 70. Nothing much else at this hour of the day. Farther south now to the northern half of Sarasota County. We'll check that map and find out. Keeping you in suspense here. There we go. Bee Ridge Road in the eastbound lane around Tuttle. Also Clark Road westbound, where it turns into Stickney Point, otherwise pretty clear. And our South County map showing us no activity right now at 6:02. You can always check traffic on our app. We have changed and updated our app, so you can check it. Go to the App Store and punch up WWSB or My Suncoast. Florida's fire marshal is on the Suncoast this morning. He is here to talk about a bill in Tallahassee that would help firefighters with post-traumatic stress disorder. Let's go live to Fire Station 1 in the Rosemary District and our Marla Spence. Marla, good morning.
Yeah, Ray, PTSD is an issue that many believe only those who serve in the military can suffer from, but also firefighters and people who serve throughout our community, they can also suffer from PTSD, and many times firefighters cannot receive benefits to pay for their treatment. Today, Jimmy Petronis, who is the fire marshal for the state and also the chief financial officer, will be at Fire Station number 1 to talk about that issue and the efforts to increase benefits for firefighters who are diagnosed with PTSD across the state and on the Suncoast. Currently, first responders are only eligible for workers' compensation if they have physical injuries. House Bill 227 is something that's been in the works, and now it's getting a closer review by the House. Now, Petronis first learned about this issue through a Hillsborough County woman whose brother, who worked for the Tampa Fire Department, took his own life after suffering from PTSD. This morning, Petronis will be right here at Fire Station number 1 to talk to fire officials and also firefighters starting at 7:30. Reporting live in Sarasota, Marla Spence for ABC 7, your Suncoast News.
All right. Thank you, Marla. In Manatee County, a state plan to replace the DeSoto Bridge in downtown Bradenton is bringing out some opponents, it turns out. The state DOT wants to replace the bridge with what's called a flyover. That would involve elevating the roadway so that it would be constructed above First Street in downtown Bradenton and extend over the Manatee River. But not everyone likes this idea. In fact, the president of the Manatee County NAACP says he is unhappy with how FDOT is gathering input for the plan.
Currently, 64,000 cars travel down this road. They claim that 33% of those are regional traffic. We still don't have a good definition of regional traffic. There's been no economic impact study, nothing that has been presented to us. They just want to run it down First Street because they said it is the best performer. It moves the most traffic, and we're just not going for it.
Jones was among those who came out for last night's FDOT meeting. That's the sheriff right there of Manatee County, Rick Wells, among those at last night's meeting in downtown Bradenton. New this morning, a scam alert about a telephone scam here on the Suncoast. The Charlotte County Sheriff's Office says many people in the area have received calls from a man who tells them that they have missed jury duty or that there's an active warrant out for their arrest and they must pay a $1,000 fine. If you receive such a call, you should immediately hang up and call your local law enforcement agency. A decision is expected today on a controversial classified memo in Washington. It's causing friction between the president and his new FBI director. ABC's Serena Marshall has the latest.
President Trump likely to give the go-ahead to release the highly controversial GOP memo his own FBI director warned against making public. The FBI took the extraordinary step earlier this week of opposing its release, citing, quote, grave concerns about its accuracy. The union representing FBI agents thanked Director Chris Wray for his support and for standing shoulder to shoulder with them. Former FBI Director James Comey also defending the agency in a tweet, writing, all should appreciate the FBI speaking up, and that in the long run, weasels and liars never hold the field as long as good people stand up. The memo, written by Republicans on the House Intelligence Committee, purports to show the Justice Department acted inappropriately when it sought a surveillance warrant for a former Trump campaign advisor suspected of being a Russian agent.
The point was to selectively declassify information so that it would support a narrative favorable to the president.
The likely decision doesn't just put the president at odds with Democrats and the FBI. According to the Washington Post, his director of national intelligence also expressed reservations about the release. And the number 3 Republican in the Senate, John Thune, urged House Republicans to pay careful attention to what the folks who protect us say. But Speaker Ryan argued the memo isn't an indictment of the FBI.
It does not impugn the Mueller investigation or the Deputy Attorney General.
A spokeswoman for the Speaker tells us that he also supports releasing the 10-page Democratic counter memo, even though the committee voted against its release. But the 4-page GOP memo could be made public as early as this afternoon. Serena Marshall, ABC News, Washington.
A federal judge is ruling on a policy that bans ex-felons from voting in Florida could affect this year's elections. A judge says banning ex-cons who have served their time is unconstitutional. Florida's constitution allows the governor and cabinet members to restore voting rights, but the process put in place by the governor requires most ex-felons wait at least 5 years to vote again. The judge says he will decide later this year what Florida should do to change that process. Speaking of voting, a reminder, early voting in the special election for the local state house district begins tomorrow. 3 candidates are on the ballot. That's Allison Foxall, the Libertarian, right there. Also James Buchanan, the Republican candidate, and also Margaret Good, the Democratic candidate, all vying to replace Alex Miller, who resigned in Tallahassee. Only voters who live in the district can take part in the election. You can cast a ballot at any of 3 early voting sites tomorrow through the 10th. Election day itself is February 13th. Today is a big day for spring training here on the Suncoast. The Baltimore Orioles are completing their annual move to Sarasota. The team loaded all their training gear and uniforms into a truck and made the 1,000-mile drive from Baltimore to Ed Smith Stadium. That includes 24,000 baseballs, 900 bats. Later on this morning, all the equipment will be unloaded. The Orioles' first spring training home game is Friday, February 23rd against the Tampa Bay Rays. Today is also National Groundhog Day, and each year on February 2nd, we anxiously await Punxsutawney Phil's prediction. If he sees his shadow, legend says there'll be 6 more weeks of winter, and if not, spring will be here before we know it. He'll make his prediction this morning, sometime in the 7 o'clock hour. In fact, let's go live right now to the scene. A tense place to be, as you can tell. A lot of stress. Beach Boys right now. There you go.
Ahoy!
Having some fun up there. Still ahead, first alert traffic and weather, and also money-saving tips for buying that new car. Plus, who will win Super Bowl 52? We've got 2 strong opinions at Moat Marine. We'll also talk to a former Super Bowl player who lives here on the Suncoast. All that and more after the break. It is 6:09 right now, and this is back to Pennsylvania.
Who's feeling winner? Who's a true friend of the club? Dealy Dealy. What? Who wants stuff? Here comes some stuff. Toys.
This is your brain. This is drugs. This is your brain on drugs. Any questions?
Yeah, I have questions.
Prescription drugs aren't as bad as street drugs, right?
Weed's legal, isn't it?
Drinking is worse than smoking weed.
Isn't it? Why
is heroin so addictive?
Molly just makes you feel happy.
I have questions.
Mom?
Dad, did you ever try drugs?
They're going to ask. Be ready. Go to drugfree.org. A message from Partnership for Drug-Free Kids.
Today, everyone is looking for more fashionable choices in flooring than ever before. And G. Fried has responded with a huge selection of carpets, tile, wood, laminate, and vinyl. Installed by a highly skilled team, G. Fried has got everything you're looking for and more. The next time you think about quality flooring, think G. Fried Flooring America. G. Fried Flooring America. Our world is at your feet.
This is an important medical announcement. Bard IVC filters have been linked to punctured veins and problems with migration. Anyone who's received a Bard IVC filter must receive medical monitoring and may be entitled to substantial compensation. If you have the Bard Recovery G2 or G2 Express filter, you are in a class of patients who should be compensated for some expenses. Call now for a free assessment of your case and potential money damages. This call is confidential. There's no cost and you may be eligible. Juries have awarded millions of dollars to people who should have been warned about the risks of the Bard IVC filters. Call the IVC Filter Hotline if you or a loved one has received an IVC filter and experienced a vein puncture or required medical monitoring. You must call now.
Call 800-329-3089. 800-329-3089.
I just had a very educational ride with Nina.
Did you learn anything?
Where do I begin? So all this stuff goes into a safety check.
Yep.
It's a long list.
It's important stuff.
Test the smoke detector.
Yep.
Check the breaker box.
Yep.
Meter the GFCIs.
Ground fault circuit interrupters.
Well, I knew that.
Call 888-8-SPARKY.
Nina, you make it look easy.
Thanks, but don't do it yourself.
Who's your guy?
I am the resident district manager on the FAU campus for Chartwell. Whenever I see Haley, I do not see a person with a disability. I see a person with extraordinary abilities. Haley is always smiling. She's always on time. She gives fantastic customer service and is always focused on any job that she's given.
Hi, this is Dan Marino. When your business recruits people with disabilities, everybody wins. To find out how, go to disabilitieswork.employflorida.com.
Download the all-new ABC7 First Alert Weather app now. Now, your ABC7 First Alert Weather Forecast with meteorologist John Scalzi.
So as you head out the door, the temperatures are going to be a little bit warmer than they were 24 hours ago at about 55 degrees at 7 a.m. Then 71 degrees by 12 noon. So that's quite a fast warm up. We'll have plenty of sunshine around this morning with a few fair weather clouds, yes. But daytime highs will top out mild, just like they did yesterday, coming in the mid 70s, 74 degrees with a 3 p.m. temperature, and then taper off thereafter as we head into 7 o'clock tonight. We'll be looking at temperatures that are back down into the 60s. 54 the air temperature currently with a 51 degree dew point. Temperatures across the region hour by hour as we go into the afternoon are solidly everywhere in the mid 70s, and we'll have plenty of sunshine around throughout the day. No rain in today's forecast whatsoever. Winds will start shifting though a little bit out of the west, I think, as we head into the afternoon, especially along the coast, and that'll keep the coastline a tad bit cooler while inland temperatures get up into the probably upper 70s today. 78 degrees in Northport Arcadia at 76, Parrish at 73, Punta Gorda at 78, while along the coastline during the evening hours Well, we're looking at the low 70s. That'll get down into the 60s by the time sunset comes around under mostly quiet conditions. Should be a lovely sunset with a little bit of fair weather cloud building from a storm system back to the west. I think what we'll likely see are another one of those beautiful evenings where all the colors are reflected off the cloud cover that we have around. And then overnight through dawn tomorrow, we'll look at temperatures that fall into the mid-50s. Across the region today, well, we've got a frontal boundary located just to our north. That's the first one that we'll deal with. We're going to be dealing with two, actually. But the first one located just to the north of us is not going to be a big player. The second one still gathering its strength and formation and will be sinking south, joining up basically what's left over with this one. As it sinks south, it falls apart. That's the one that comes through tomorrow. What it will do is kind of uptick the wind speeds just a little bit for the regatta tomorrow, but not enough to cause any big deal. They'll probably come in around 10 to 15 during the later afternoon or mid-afternoon tomorrow, and out of the northeast most likely. That northeast wind also will tend to cut our daytime temperature just a little bit tomorrow, so that we'll be only a degree or two cooler. Not a big impact. The impact comes on Sunday with the frontal boundary sinking south into the Gulf. A low develops, and that low advances toward the state of Florida. So nice today, as we've just discussed. Slight rain chances on Saturday with that decaying front sinking southward and an uptick in the wind speeds a bit. And then clouds for Sunday with showers late in the day, most likely. So a 10-knot wind today builds to about 15. We'll look for a light chop building to a moderate chop late in the overnight with 2 to 3 foot seas. Looking for a pretty nice day for boating, actually. And the 7-day forecast looks like this. 74 degrees today under mostly sunny skies. Should be beautiful. An overnight low of about 53, 54. Very comfortable. And then tomorrow, we'll look for 71 degrees. A little bit cooler because that front will have moved through, fallen apart. We won't get a lot of cloud cover. Maybe we'll get a little bit more thicker cloud cover around, and maybe an isolated shower. That's about it. On Sunday, much better chance of rainfall in the second half of the day, particularly from about 3 o'clock onward through sunset into the early hours of Monday morning. We have a chance of seeing some patchy drizzle showers, 1/4 inch of rainfall at worst, probably, with maybe some isolated pockets a little bit heavier. We'll call it a first alert day because there'll be so many people coming to and from celebrations from Super Bowl. And then as we head into Monday, things clear out and we turn a little warmer. Actually, it's not going to be a powerful Sunday cold front. Back to you, Ray.
I like the sound of that, turning warmer. Thank you, John. Let's check first alert traffic right now. The usual spotty delays around downtown Bradenton, 301 and 70. Also I-75 as you cross over 64 in the northbound lane. Let's check farther south now into the northern half of Sarasota County. A little blip there on Bee Ridge as you're leaving the interstate and heading toward Cattleman. Also Clark as you go eastbound around Palmer Ranch. And checking our final map to the south, all clear right now at 6:18 on your Friday morning. Now here is a live look at U.S. Bank Stadium where the Patriots will take on the Eagles in Super Bowl 52 on Sunday. It is going to be about 9 degrees outside that building, but luckily the big game is inside. Now, we had a chance this past week to talk to a former player who took part in 2 Super Bowls. Steve Christie lives here on the Suncoast now. He kicked for the Buffalo Bills. We asked the leading scorer in Bills history about the hype before the game. I would think it kind of comes down to which team is more able to set aside the trappings and get down to business.
I agree 100%. I think a lot of guys throughout the years would have lessons for younger guys saying, hey, look, there's a curfew at 11 o'clock for a reason.
Former NFL kicker Steve Christie knows what he's talking about. He played in the NFL for 15 years, mostly for the Buffalo Bills, and appeared in 2 Super Bowls. How were the emotions different before a Super Bowl game?
For me, I was extremely nervous. The first one I was in was at the Rose Bowl. I went to the bathroom 6 times. I was so nervous before the game. And then I just hope that, you know, after pregame warm-up and once you kick off and get in the game, it's just another game.
When you watch the game, do you get butterflies at home?
I'll get butterflies when the guys come out of the tunnel. That was one of my favorite things at the beginning of a game.
Do you miss it still?
I miss Sundays.
You miss Sundays?
Yeah, I don't miss all the nonsense during the week.
Tom Brady, the best quarterback ever?
I think so. I think he's the greatest of all time. I mean, he's shown even this year that when he needs to perform, he does. It's not always pretty, but he gets it done.
Were you surprised the Eagles have gotten this far?
I am, because your starting quarterback goes down. It's a big challenge for whoever's coming in. Foles has done a great job, but that doesn't always happen.
What advice would you give the kickers of each team for this?
Well, basically just do your job. Don't worry about all the hype. Patriots are probably going to be favored. A lot of experience. Tom Brady's got this knack of getting the thing done when he has to, but you know, I like Philadelphia's offensive coordinator, Frank Reich, who was my holder with Buffalo, but he's done a great job there, and with a backup quarterback.
Here we go.
The layout.
I thought I was running faster, I swear. Looked like a wounded elk on the sidelines there. Meantime, in Suncoast tradition, manatees at Mote Marine Lab in Sarasota have made their predictions for this year's big game. Buffett and Hugh are trained daily at Mote, which is how they are able to make their picks. They each have a logo dangled in front of them, and they choose the one who they think will win the game. Buffett is good at this. He's picked the winner correctly in 8 of the last 10 Super Bowls, and Buffett chose the Eagles, and the other Sea Cow chose the Patriots. So maybe they've got some insider's knowledge that Las Vegas will want to know about first. Still ahead, new details about a 12-year-old girl in Southern California who shot 2 classmates yesterday. What police are now saying about her motive or lack thereof after this.
Our overall experience working with California Closets was phenomenal.
Calm, reassuring.
Through happenstance, we ended up paired with our designer, Jen. She was someone who not only was patient, someone who was professional. She's become extended family.
She had great insight to help direct me towards those things that could make our dreams come true.
We are the Greens, and this is our California Closet story.
That is a pretty good breakfast. You're not even eating.
Not hungry.
No? Why not? What's up?
Kath and I knew that Jenny had been partying a bit. Found out she tried heroin.
Most people don't know what to say about drugs, but we do. Visit us at drugfree.org.
The skills you develop as a soldier in the Army National Guard can give you a head start on your career. Gain practical experience with technology and equipment that will give you a leg up in the civilian world. Learn critical leadership skills and to be part of a team. Serve your community and your country part-time while earning money for an education. Visit NationalGuard.com to learn about the paid training and career opportunities available to you in the Army National Guard.
Here we go. We're gonna go out there in the rain. Gonna get wet. All right, here we go. Okay, quick. Oh yeah, yes. So much fun. Mwah.
My name is Julius. I have cerebral palsy. I work for Farmer Jeffrey Weising Law Firm. I do a lot of data entry and scanning documents. I want to increase my working experience to make the company much better. At the end of the day, it's good to think of the day's work and to think about what I have accomplished.
Hi, this is Dan Marino. When your business recruits people with disabilities, everybody wins. To find out how, go to abilitieswork.employflorida.com.
There's a live shot from Punxsutawney where we're waiting Phil's prediction on the end of winter. Let's listen in. Hoping that music keeps the folks awake there and doesn't put them back to sleep. We'll check back in Punxsutawney throughout the show. Consumer news now. Google is on the brink of a major hiring spree. They plan to add thousands of workers in 9 states. The company has not specified which states yet, but there is a location here in Florida that could potentially be part of the hiring spree. We think the Suncoast would help. All of the positions are expected to be filled this year, in addition to building 5 new data centers nationwide. If you're shopping for a new car, we have a few tips to help you save money and feel more prepared before you walk into the showroom and get tackled by the sales staff. The first tip for getting the best deal is the auto loan. If you need one, there are plenty of options, but focus on the best rate for you. Also, monitor your credit score and get a copy of your credit report in advance. And lastly, negotiate the price and look at less popular models for better deals. And my personal tip, check the Kelley Blue Book for the wholesale price, what the dealership paid, and then make them an offer. Take the power back. Some new technology from UC Berkeley includes high-tech windows that can save energy bills. Look at this. Smart glass will darken under sunlight, and it's simple and quick to produce. As windows heat up, it takes only 30 seconds to turn orange, and it's ready to generate power, and takes just seconds to cool off and then turn clear again.
As a transparent window, as a shade, and as a solar panel.
This technology could change the game in reducing the amount of need for air conditioning. In the early morning, it's a transparent window, and late afternoon, it's a shaded window, all while collecting electricity for solar power as well. Just a reminder, we update our respective Facebook pages every day. I posted some pictures yesterday, both of the Tiger Bay Luncheon, which talked about the state's constitutional revisions going on right now, and also some photos of my catch with Steve Christie. That's all on our Facebook pages. Also, we're on Instagram as well, some behind-the-scenes peeks at Good Morning Suncoast. We're learning more now about the 12-year-old Southern California girl who brought a gun to school yesterday and shot 2 classmates. It happened again. ABC's Clayton Sandell has a closer look.
In this morning's GMA First Look, questions about why a 12-year-old girl allegedly brought a loaded handgun to her L.A. middle school.
Just as for her location is Castor Middle School.
Shooting 2 classmates, an adult and 2 other kids injured by flying glass and metal.
As a parent, this is everyone's worst-case nightmare.
The call Thursday morning triggering a massive response. Officers searching students one by one.
They were on lockdown and he was in tears.
One bullet struck a 15-year-old boy in the head. He's expected to survive.
Gunshot wounds to the head are very, very lethal. The vast majority of them do not do well. In this particular circumstance, though, this child was extremely lucky. The trajectory of the bullet did not hit any vital structures that were an immediate threat to life.
And we'll have the latest on the investigation coming up at 7 a.m. with your GMA First Look. I'm Clayton Sandell, ABC News, Los Angeles.
My healthy routine helps me feel my best, so I add Activia yogurt to my day. With its billions of live and active probiotics, Activia may help support my digestive health, so I can take on my day. Activia, now in probiotic dailies.
Enamel is the white outer layer of your tooth surface. The more that we can strengthen and reharden that tooth surface, the whiter their patient's teeth are going to be. Dentists are going to really want to recommend Pronamel Strong and Bright. It's going to give their patients whiter teeth.
For my constipation, my doctor recommended I switch to Miralax. Stimulant laxatives make your body go by forcefully stimulating the nerves in your colon. Miralax is different. It works with the water in your body to hydrate and soften, unblocking your system naturally. Miralax.
You don't want to miss the annual Venice Orchid Show and Sale February 3rd and 4th at the Venice Community Center. It is the largest orchid show on Florida's West Coast with thousands of blooming orchids on display and for sale. You'll also find orchid growing supplies, artwork, jewelry, accessories, and free classes. Make plans now to attend the Venice Orchid Show and Sale February 3rd and 4th at the Venice Community Center. Go to vaos.org online for more details.
Ever since I can remember, I've been intrigued by industrial design and the optimization.
Wait, that's passion?
Ever since I can remember, my passion has been industrial design. We need 3D printers for Miss Adams' engineering program so that we are ready to solve 21st century challenges.
Impressive. Think It Up is a new initiative to support student-powered, teacher-led learning projects. Students and teachers, how can you spark great learning experiences in your classroom today? Think It Up.
Everything all right?
Actually, you know how Tom had knee surgery? Sure. We found out Brad's been taking his painkillers. And it turns out he's been doing it for a while.
Most people don't know what to say about drugs, but we do. Visit us at drugfree.org.
We answered the call of duty and left our homes to serve in far-off lands. Now, we answer another call, this time at home, in our own communities, to respond in times of chaos, to use our strength, our skills, and our experiences to bring hope amid devastation and destruction. Together, as a team of brothers and sisters, we're continuing our mission to make this country a little stronger and a little better each day. We are Team Rubicon.
My name is Haley. I have Fragile X syndrome. I work with Chartwells at Einstein's at FAU. I like being up front and interacting with students. The students are very nice and very hungry. Having a job is a big ticket for independence.
Hi, this is Dan Marino. When your business recruits people with disabilities, everybody wins. To find out how, go to disabilitieswork.employflorida.com.
Soldiers in the Army National Guard serve to give back to their country and communities. Their part-time commitment qualifies them for an array of benefits, such as affordable health and life insurance benefits, education benefits, including tuition assistance, student loan repayment and GI Bill programs, a retirement plan based on part-time service, and VA home mortgages. Visit NationalGuard.com to learn more about all the benefits available in the Army National Guard.
Keep up with the Suncoast. Watch your favorite ABC 7 shows on your streaming device.
This half hour on Good Morning Suncoast, wildfires spreading across the Suncoast, what experts say is the cause for an early increase in our area.
I'm live at Fire Station number 1 in Sarasota, where the state's fire marshal will be here advocating for a bill that will increase benefits for firefighters. What that benefit is straight ahead.
And this weekend's the big regatta on the water in Bradenton. We'll have a preview for you this half hour on Good Morning Suncoast.
Live from the ABC 7 studios, this is Good Morning Suncoast. We're here for you.
And good morning, second day of February, 6:30. I'm Ray Collins. Stephanie is not feeling well again. The flu is certainly making its rounds on the Suncoast, also nationwide. Really, the big story right now, though, is about the fire season starting early this year, John Scalzi.
Yeah, as you will hear in the upcoming story, now's a good time to prepare your home, you know, and especially if you live in that urban wildfire interface, you know, out there in the woods. You want to clear a good distance between you and the brush just in case wildfires do start. You know, we had an El Nino year. We still have it, which normally favors kind of a dry period, and we had a very, very wet tropical season. So in September we had a lot of rainfall that caused a lot of vegetation to grow. Then October, November, December, all dry months, led to a lot of tinder building. And then we had a decent February, but now already we're starting off with a kind of a dry period. So if you look at the fire danger indexes across the state, these areas of yellow and lighter blue that you see, we're all in the average category for our fire danger, but these areas in blue and yellow are on the high end of the average for this time of year. So if we don't get a lot of rainfall over the next several months, we could find ourselves in trouble as we head into the beginning of fire season. So that's what we'll want to watch. As far as the forecast for us today goes, no rain in the picture today. Maybe over the weekend, and we'll talk about that in just a few. Right?
Thanks, John. Talk to you soon. Checking first alert traffic now, 301 northbound. Quite congested there on the bend as you head toward downtown Bradenton. Also seeing some congestion up at 301 across the river as folks drive away from Ellenton. Farther south, we'll see in 41 southbound as you drive away from the 301 split around Bay Vista and Siesta Drive and Weber, some slowdowns there. Also Bee Ridge, some early traffic there eastbound around Tuttle. South County, though, is all clear right now at 6:34 on your Friday morning. Our top story, wildfires are already popping up, as John said, across parts of the Suncoast earlier than usual. Fire officials say we haven't seen this many wildfires this early in several years, including 5 that have sparked in Sarasota County and 3 more in Manatee County. In fact, in the month of January, there were a total of 22 wildfires in the region, which also includes Charlotte, Hardee, and DeSoto counties. Officials from the Florida Forest Service Myakka District say that's at least a dozen more compared to January of last year.
The majority of them have been illegal burns. There's been a couple of them that's been caused by equipment or children. There's still a handful that's still under investigation, and so it's just kind of, a little hodgepodge of different things so far.
Fire officials say wildfire season in Florida this year is now year-round because of how dry it can be. Firefighters usually see more wildfires toward the end of February, which is usually the start of the season, but not this year. Speaking of fires and firefighters, a bill in Tallahassee will give new benefits to firefighters suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder. And this morning, a VIP is on the Suncoast to push a plan. Marla Spence is live at Fire Station 1 in the Rosemary District. Marla, good morning.
Good morning, Ray. That House bill could mean some major changes and benefit changes to firefighters in the state of Florida, as well as on the Suncoast. House Bill 227 is being pushed for benefits for firefighters who are diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder, also known as PTSD. It's pending review after it was heard by its first committee on Wednesday. It's also being advocated by Jimmy Petronis, who serves as the state's chief financial officer, and also the fire marshal for the state of Florida. Petronis was just in Miami a few days ago, and today he'll be right here at Fire Station number 1 in Sarasota to advocate and push for that bill. Reporting live in Sarasota, Marla Spence for ABC 7, your Suncoast News.
All right, thank you, Marla. A follow-up now on that mysterious death in a sauna on Longboat Key. Police say they are investigating the death as a possible homicide at the Longboat Key Club moorings. A 54-year-old woman was found dead inside the poolside clubhouse. The door is still chained shut, as you see. Police say they have ruled out a natural or accidental cause of death, and with obvious signs of trauma, the chief says that leaves homicide or suicide as the last possibilities. The initial autopsy results came back inconclusive. The medical examiner has sent away DNA and other evidence for lab work.
We are putting all available resources on this and investigating every possibility, interviewing any potential witnesses, and again, with the evidence out at the lab, we're waiting for results of that too. So we're working this pretty much around the clock.
Well, police are not willing to release the name of the woman until they can rule out that it wasn't a suicide. A man accused of killing a woman in Sarasota 7 years ago is not mentally fit to stand trial. That's the decision made by a Sarasota County judge about William Case yesterday. He is accused of killing Karen Courts back in 2011 in Kensington Park. Detectives say they linked Case to the murder through DNA and a shoe impression found at the scene. Case's attorney had previously requested a mistrial, saying his client is incompetent and he got his way. Some Florida lawmakers want to create a task force to make sure our state does not run out of gas when a hurricane comes our way again. The task force would create a plan for the state that would make sure our gas supply is sufficient during natural emergencies and major disasters. Florida struggled to keep up with the fuel demand during Irma, when more than 6 million people evacuated the area. Drivers spent up to 12 hours on routes that typically take half that time, and the situation grew worse when ports were closed because of high winds.
Saw the pictures of the highway where the highway patrol was taking one side of the highway was packed back to back, and then the other side was moving the tankers through there trying to get the fuel.
This new task force will be appointed by the governor, the president of the Senate, and the House Speaker as well. Well, it's only February, but a regatta planned for this fall in Venice is already getting some pushback on social media. The Sarasota Scullers Youth Rowing Regatta will be held September 15th, but some boaters are unhappy the event will close off the Intracoastal Waterway for nearly a full day. Opponents are calling for the event to be held at Nathan Benderson Park instead, but others are excited about the regatta and the money it'll bring to Venice.
Do is you can celebrate and bring in people and bring in some revenue to the area is fantastic.
It's important to note the boat ramp at the Venice train depot is also expected to be closed during that regatta in September. And speaking of regattas, the 4th annual Bradenton Area River Regatta is tomorrow. Spectators can expect a wet and wild day in Manatee County's largest event of the year. World champions and performers will be up in the air, on the water, on stage. It's a free event. And new this year, the Wheel of Lights, a Ferris wheel, also stunt dogs, cool kid zones, and also a 5K run. This is video from last year. There will also be a fireworks show as well. Sunday is a big race day in Sarasota. This one's a lot of fun. The Sarasota Music Half Marathon and Rockin' 10K kicks off at 6:30 a.m. The race will begin and end at the Van Wezel Performing Arts Center. There'll be road closures during the race, including parts of US 41, the Ringling Bridge, and also St. Armand Circle. This is so fun because they've got bands set up along the race route, so it's really good to roll out of bed and go watch those who are in good shape. Not me, that's for sure. For more on the road closures and other breaking news, we've got a new app for you to check out. Go to the App Store, and punch up WWSB or My Suncoast. Still ahead on Good Morning Suncoast, the latest in Suncoast First Alert traffic and weather. And you want to get your passport sooner than later if you're traveling. We'll tell you about some changes on the way. It is right now 6:41, and here is a live shot of the sunrise in progress. Beautiful way to start the day here in Paradise. Good Morning Suncoast continues with John Scalzi's forecast after this.
So Matt told me to meet him at 7 a.m. sharp right here. It is now 7:01 a.m. You think Matt would leave without me? Hey, is Matt here?
Long gone.
Long gone.
Just missed him.
Just missed him.
All done.
Mr. Sparky guarantees they're on time and the repair is free, so chop chop.
Call 888-8-SPARKY.
Matt, you started without me.
I finished without you, too.
WWSB ABC7 is an equal opportunity employer, and we're looking for qualified people to join our dynamic team. For a list of current openings and to apply online, visit www.mysuncoast.com/contact/employment. If you're a motivated team player and you want a rewarding career in a fun, fast-paced working environment, WWSB ABC7 could be the perfect fit for you. Check out our list of openings now.
Everybody can make something, because I think everyone has a spark of creativity, and the reason that I have to keep making is because I don't think my life would be as fulfilling without it. If you make things yourself, that means you're not cowering in fear. You're out there taking chances. That, I think, is my way of saying I love you to the world. All right, now I want to hear why you make.
Share your own Why I Make story today. Visit whyimake.org.
Performing on stage takes mental and physical preparation. But one thing I never thought to prepare for was cervical cancer. 91% of cervical cancers are caused by the human papillomavirus, or HPV. The good news is there are vaccines that can protect you or your children from cancer. I survived my cancer, but you can stop cancer before it starts. Talk to your doctor and go to thinkaboutthelink.org to learn more.
I witnessed him have 2 heart attacks in ICU. He went through seizures.
We'd much rather have Aaron like this than dead. A lot of parents don't have that luxury.
He can't talk. He can't walk. This is a condition Aaron will live with for the rest of his life because he abused prescription pills.
Mind your meds. Learn more from the Partnership for Drug-Free Kids.
Here's today's Job of the Day. ABC7 is seeking a multimedia journalist who can tell a story on all platforms and meet tight deadlines. Reporting experience required. Visit mysuncoast.com/joboftheday to apply. Now your ABC7 First Alert weather forecast with meteorologist John Scalzi.
Temperatures in the 50s across the region right now, but it won't be long before we're in the 60s. By 9 o'clock this morning, we'll hit 62, and then by noontime, by lunchtime, 70s, 71 degrees, and then we'll top it out today at around 3 p.m. at 74, and this evening, we'll be back in the 60s, but it'll be pleasant without any rainfall around. 54, the current air temperature, dew point at 51. That's a significant rise in our dew point over 24 hours. More moisture is in the air. We'll continue to see fair weather clouds build during the afternoon hours because of that moisture passing by from time to time. By 1 o'clock this afternoon, temperatures, as I mentioned, everywhere you look in the 70s with a mix of sun and fair weather clouds. As we head into the evening hours, the winds will start shifting a little bit more westerly near the coast. That'll keep the coast a little bit cooler. Temperatures inland, though, will still be solidly in the 70s, and again, it'll be a partly cloudy sky. As the sun sets, the clouds will continue, a mix of clouds and clear sky. Winds may start shifting to the northeast as we head into the next 24 hours because of a frontal boundary trying to work its way southward. As it does that, we'll cloud up a little bit perhaps tomorrow, but we won't get much in the way of any kind of rainfall with the first front that comes through on Saturday. Just a slightest little cool down, in part because of the extra cloud cover, in part because of those shifting winds. The front itself sinks southward and just kind of falls apart as it does so. A second front, however, is a more important one. That one will be arriving here on Sunday, and the reason it's more important is that as it moves into the Gulf, a little area of low pressure will start to develop at the surface, and that will enhance our rainfall chances, especially as we head into Sunday. Better confidence today in more rainfall on Sunday. Slight little chance of a shower on Saturday, but it's really not a big deal. It'll be a passing shower if you get one, and 90% of us will not get any rainfall on Saturday. But on Sunday, watch for those winds to kind of pick up just a little bit. There could possibly be a thunderstorm or two around in the later afternoon. Can't rule that out. For today, winds are out of the north and switching a little to the northwest, eventually to the northeast, and picking up a bit as we head into the evening and overnight for the regatta tomorrow. There could be a slight elevation in the wind speeds, but not enough to really create a big deal. Look for 74 degrees, our daytime high today, 53 the overnight low tomorrow, about 71, a few degrees cooler, maybe a few more clouds around, and just a very small chance of rainfall. Sunday, a 50% chance of rain. My confidence is pretty high, and a tenth of an inch of rainfall, perhaps as much as a quarter inch of rainfall, but say I have an 80% chance, 80% confidence in a tenth of an inch of rainfall, my confidence in heavier rains drops down to about 20%. So I think we're looking at the light end of the scale on this one. And mostly during the later afternoon and into the evening. We'll call it a first alert day only because it's a Super Bowl Sunday and there'll be a lot of people wanting to have picnics outdoors or tailgating or, throwing the football around out in the yard, and there will be some scattered showers about. Over the course of the week ahead, we look for temperatures to warm close to the 80 mark by the time we hit midweek next week. Back to you, Ray.
Very nice. Thank you, John. Checking first alert traffic right now. We'll build up there. If you look to the right of your screen, about midway up State Road 70, some congestion as you get past Lakewood Ranch Boulevard and head toward that Walmart Plaza there. Congestion toward I-75. Otherwise, pretty clear there. Northern half of Sarasota County, some buildup on Bee Ridge, eastbound around Tuttle. And farther south, all clear at 6:48 on this Friday morning. We go back now to Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania, National Groundhog Day. Remember that movie with Bill Murray? That was a good one, wasn't it? Saw it twice. They expect that Phil will or will not emerge shortly after 7 o'clock, so I'm sure Good Morning America will pick up our coverage from here. Ongoing tradition, getting bigger every year, and there in other parts of the country as well, with various animals. All right, consumer news. If you need a passport or an updated passport, you better do it before April. Here's why. The cost is going up $10 by April 2nd. Adult passports will be $145. Children 16 and under will now pay $115, or their parents will pay, rather. The State Department says the fee needs to be higher to cover the costs of processing passport applications. Yeah, sure. A follow-up now on a peacock fiasco we first told you about yesterday here on Good Morning Suncoast. United Airlines recently refused to accept a peacock named Dexter on a flight from Newark to LA. The bird was rejected under the airline's previous policy for health and safety reasons. But now United is updating its policy on comfort animals and will require just documentation about the animal's health and training. Delta has the same rules. Some military veterans in North Dakota are in Minneapolis for the big football game, but not the football game, a much different one. The Air Force veterans are in the Twin Cities to check out the Wounded Warrior amputee football game that takes on retired NFL players.
Brother at arms with all these guys who, exceed life every day.
This trip will be one these men and women won't soon forget anytime soon in Minneapolis. Big game, 9 degrees, by the way, outside. Luckily, it's an indoor game this weekend. Still ahead, we'll update the day's top local news headlines, and a local puppy has made it to the main stage. We'll explain after this.
I was always worried and scared. Mom was in pain. She wasn't going to get any better, and all the trips to the ER were painful for all of us. Then we called Tidewell Hospice, and everything changed. Now she has care in our home when she needs it, surrounded by family. We know we don't have much time left with Mom, but we decided to make the best out of that time. Tidewell Hospice, it's more than you think.
Attention, Americans eligible for Medicare. Are you getting all the benefits you're entitled to? Did you know there may be money available to lower your medical prescription costs? Call Health Markets and we'll tell you if you qualify.
Hi, I'm Dr. Martin Jeetsi. It's a new Medicare year. That means more changes and more confusion. The key question is, what can you do now to ensure you get the care you need in the coming year?
Call Health Markets today. You may qualify to save money on prescriptions. We'll help you find plans that may cost less, cover more, and could even lower your prescription costs to increase your savings. We help you find all the benefits you're entitled to, and we do it at no cost.
Make sure you have what you need to get the care that's right for you.
Find out if you qualify to receive extra help with your prescriptions. Call the number on the screen now. Representatives are standing by.
Selfless service is the principle that guides Army National Guard soldiers to be ready whenever disaster strikes. They have a stake in the well-being of the neighborhoods where they live and work. They train part-time to be ready to serve at all times. Selfless service, it's what inspires the men and women of the Army National Guard to be part of something greater than themselves. Visit NationalGuard.com to learn more.
Want the latest weather and traffic conditions wherever you go? Introducing ABC7's revolutionary new First Alert weather app. With our state-of-the-art new weather app, you get up-to-the-minute weather alerts, interactive radar maps, current conditions, 10-day forecasts, real-time traffic maps, and weather video from ABC7, all at your fingertips. And it's free. Just search Suncoast WX in the App Store and download onto all your devices today. Sponsored by Mr. Sparky.
Chris Domine is a husband, father, an athlete, even an Ironman. But 10 years ago, Chris's kidneys were failing.
The doctor said if you don't do dialysis, if you don't get a kidney transplant, you are going to die.
Then Chris received a second chance, made possible by an organ donor.
Your well-being changes from loss of hope to better times ahead.
Imagine what you could make possible. Learn more and sign up as an organ, eye, and tissue donor. Go to organdonor.gov.
Get all the local information you need before you leave home in the morning. Watch Good Morning Suncoast weekdays on ABC7 to get breaking news, plus First Alert weather and traffic focused on where you live. ABC7, we're here for you. Check out My Suncoast Dining on mysuncoast.com for Chef Judy's favorite recipes, restaurant guide, and more. Go to mysuncoast.com/dining.
Welcome back. 6:53. Here are the top headlines on the Suncoast this morning. Early voting starts today for that special state House District 72 election. Special voting starts tomorrow, I should say. 3 candidates are on the ballot: Republican James Buchanan, Democrat Margaret Good, and Libertarian Allison Foxhall. They are all up for election. Election day is February 13th. U.S. passport fees are going up $10 by April 2nd. Adult passports will soon cost $145. Kids will be $115. The price hike is due to an increase in the passport acceptance or execution fee. And tomorrow is the 4th annual Bradenton Area River Regatta. Kicks off tomorrow. Spectators can expect a wet and wild day at Manatee County's largest event of the year. How's the weather for that, John Scalzi?
We will show you in just a moment here. The Suncoast Weather Regatta calling for mid-50s for that 5K run in the morning at 8 a.m. And then as we head into the afternoon, look for mid-60s, maybe a little bit more wind as a frontal boundary kind of sinks south, but any kind of showery activity would be super isolated. So not looking for a big shower activity there. 4 beach balls for the sunset tonight. If you're going to be out there, out and about, taking a walk on the beach or a walk anywhere in town, should be a beautiful, beautiful sky.
All right, good to hear. Finally, a Florida puppy makes it to the main event. Carlos Carlina is on his way to the puppy. Well, that's a nice name for a dog. The pug was picked from the local pet adoption and protection center in Miami to take part in the 14th annual Puppy Bowl this Sunday. Dozens of adoptable puppies from shelters and rescue organizations nationwide will play in the big game this weekend. So, John says Sunday afternoon, hunker down and watch the game.
And our app, I threw on both of the major computer models that show kind of slightly differing solutions for how much rain we might get. So you might want to check that out on the ABC7 First Alert Weather app. It'll be there.
Let's go live now to Pennsylvania again, where Punxsutawney Phil may or may not debut in a matter of minutes. This guy in the green hat has debuted.
I think so.
That's a live shot from Gobbler's Knob. Have you been there before?
You know, I haven't. I'm not the biggest fan in the world of this event. It's kind of more of a media PR hype than anything else.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of fun, right?
Oh, it seems to be. I'll stick to your forecast, though.
Yeah.
GMA is next. Have a great weekend, folks.